York quartet GUHTS released their debut album Regeneration in January 2024 and won instant acclaim for their unique mix of post-metal, shoegaze, and ethereal doom. We talked to vocalist Amber Gardner and guitarist and composer Scott Prater about the making of Regeneration and analyze each of the 7 tracks on the band's record. This is a Screen Blast Repeat exclusive interview.
Regeneration debut album released on the 26th of January. And we start with track number 1. And there is also a video for this. And it's called White Noise. And I think what really drew me in with this is you can hear almost like an alternative rock shoegaze approach to doom metal. But it's sludgy, it's ugly enough to be post-metal, yet it's quite blissful as well. And then there's some really heart-wrenching singing at the end of this song as well. So we'll start with you, Amber. What do you remember about the creation of this song, White Noise?
Should I tell the story?
Yeah, you could tell us.
Well, there's a lot of layers to this. So this was with there's a couple different stories happening in this because I pull a lot from journals. So do you want to know what it's about or?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I had a really close friend. So part of it is about that. And they kind of did me wrong a little bit ethically because of somebody they were with who was really dominating and controlling. Okay. I'm not going to get into like every detail. Yeah. And then it made me think about things ending and almost like a death. And sometimes you have to shed, people, places, things, emotions, because I went through a lot of emotions with it. Just because I wouldn't do something like that, like I make choices for more on a deeper like level, like how it's going to affect everybody type of thing. And so I had to go through a range of emotions, and this is basically me taking it out on this instead of a person. So the part where it's like, you look no further, illusions destroyed, you'll see. It's almost like alchemy, like going through those changes, like basically burning to ashes. Yeah. And that's how it came out. I kind of write, even when I'm writing in my journal, it's almost like poetry. That's how I get my feelings out. And then I just picked,
Did you have
whatever.
the lyrics before you had that vocal line at the end? Because that's that to me, that's the most emotive part of the song. Did you have an idea that you had the syllabus? Sorry, the syllabus flow to that, and then did you make the words fit that, or did you already have the words and just put that together?
So usually, when we're writing a song, and I think this song too, this happened. I had some of the words, but then we had to change them around a bit. But a lot of the time, I'm just hearing a sound, and then we work back and forth with that sound, and then something comes out of it. I don't know if that makes sense, but I can't remember. I chose you over me. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I chose you over me.
You had the lyric.
You hang on that note, don't you? You let it linger.
Yeah, I think I did have that lyric.
You did, and then we plugged it in and like just made that whole ending just based off of that. But yeah.
Like over and over.
Yeah.
I think it was the end of this though, the beginning. Because I wrote like a whole thing that was like 3 pages long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll just like write. And then I'm like, oh, I think these will fit. And yeah. It's kind of like a build. We
Yeah.
built it up.
Scott, how are you going to play this live? Because there's two different guitar channels. You know, you've got that dissonant arpeggio at the beginning, and you're already ringing out, playing the distorted chords over the top of that. How do you plan to incorporate that on a live stage?
Well, we already have been doing that live, and the way we've been doing it is, because we have all the synthesizers and the keys in our music, and we don't have that person, we obviously have to run backing tracks.
Yeah.
And so some of these guitar tracks, so the main heavy rhythms, I play all of that stuff. So like the main meat of the song, I play. But some of the lead and like ambient stuff kind of just gets layered with a backing track, like in the background.
Yeah. Do you know, now you've mentioned it, yes, even the synthesizers, you're not really using them in an orthodox way, are you? They're
No.
swishing around in the mix. They're quite ethereal as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there were synthesizers in it, but now you've just said that. That makes sense why you've got this atmospheric quality to the music. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one
Yeah.
of the questions I'm asking when I'm listening to this, I'm like, why does this not feel like doom metal? Even though you're playing riffs that would be considered that and the tempos, it doesn't at any point feel like a doom metal album to
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah.
that's probably a
That's
good
awesome.
thing, to be fair. But
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, there's quite a bit of synth scattered throughout. Just kind of playing a texture in the songs.
yeah. You
Yeah.
know, when we get to track number two, Till Death, so this is where there's um you've got a music video for this as well. You're using like down tempo trip hop beats in the beginning, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then live drums come in over that. What I like about this, the vocals are again almost like daydreaming, but there are odds with the muscle of the guitars. That's the great paradox of this song, isn't it? So, what is what is the main lyrical theme of this song? Because it's quite a solemn title, that isn't it? Till Death.
Well, this is from a poem, right?
Yeah.
That I wrote. Um,
Want me to tell it?
yeah.
So basically, because Amber and I are married, for Valentine's Day one year, Amber wrote me this poem, and Till Death is this poem, just kind of rearranged a little bit. Um, and I originally wrote this song I have a version of this song recorded with drum machines and acoustic guitars, and I did the vocals. And then we layered Amber over top. And then it became what it is now. So yeah, that's how this song came about.
Yeah. We work a lot like that.
Yeah.
I feel like we start out at one thing and then it just keeps morphing into something else.
Yeah.
That's kind of like our process.
Yeah, like White Noise, for instance, the first song, that song used to be 11 minutes long.
Yeah.
So it
You
got
get it down
chopped
to
down.
8, I think.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there is that a sampled piano underneath the distortion? I can hear piano sprinkles in there. Did you play that and then just loop it?
Yeah, so that piano, Dan, that was in the band from North Carolina, he played that part. And then there's also a synth track that's kind of like a bell, kind of like ringing out sound that's layered in there as well.
I'm gonna listen out for that next time. Now that you've pointed it out, I'm
Yeah,
sure it'll become obvious. But that's the glory of, isn't it? So the embroidery is subtle but almost abstract as well. You can find a lot of things in this music if you go looking for them, and you don't have to try too hard either. Sometimes they just appear before you. That I think that's one of the great experiences of listening to this record. So then we come on to track number three, and you said this is the first song that you'd written, and this was originally synth with an electronic drum programming.
yeah,
This is my favorite song on the record, and I think without knowing what the lyrics are about, Amber, I think this is the closest the listener can get to your anguish. I think you really do communicate that in this song. But yeah, there's that line, isn't there? Your life is not your own, which you keep repeating towards the end. So actually, I'm going to ask a different question. You know what the original sounds like, which is nothing like this, which is like an ethereal post-metal song. How difficult is it to create a pensive mood in a song with distorted guitars, do metal riffs if you're the vocalist in a project like this?
How hard is it?
Yeah.
Like to do my build up of
No,
vocals?
I would say how hard is it to really inject a sense of sorrow?
Oh, not that hard for some reason for me.
Because I
Yeah.
no, okay, that's
You know, I don't know. I feel like it comes natural to me. Yeah.
I think it's very difficult and surprisingly in doom metal because I mean there is that English band Warning. I don't know if you remember them. That's quite emotive music, but same with My Dying Bride. But I think that's why I gravitate more towards post metal than doom metal, because of that unhinged aggression, murderous aggression. And with this though, I think you're in that almost MTV 120 minutes type aesthetic.
Yeah.
But there's
I
a
love
lot of
that.
yeah, but it's a metal song though, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's just such a it's just really impressive. The the other thing is as well, what were you listening to? What influenced the original version of this, Scott? Because you said it was stripped down and there were no guitars in it. Were you listening to like, I don't know, Radiohead or something like that?
Um, yeah, I mean, I've listened to Radiohead for a long time, so I would say, that they're definitely an influence on me. But I think what really fueled the way I built this song at first is that it was during lockdown. I had just gotten a keyboard controller, for the computer, and I was learning that tool and also learning how to make drum beats, and it just kind of came out of that. I can't really remember a specific band or somebody that might have influenced it.
You
It
probably don't
was
want to be influenced by anything, do you, though, when you're creating?
no,
I
no.
imagine you probably won't listen to metal or alternative rock, will you, if you're writing music? Because you don't want to be influenced by other artists. Is that a fair way of putting it?
A lot of the time, yeah. I would say when I wrote White Noise, though, especially the first half of that song, I was listening to a lot to the Cult of Luna album that had just come out.
Yeah.
So that definitely, they're one of my favorite bands. So that definitely influenced me a lot with some of those riffs. But yeah, a lot of the time when I'm writing, I'm not really listening to much of anything lately.
Do you know, now you've mentioned it, that Cult of Luna album, I actually had one of those glorious epiphanies. I remember listening to it when it came out, and I'm walking through this rural village in England called Kimpton, and it's raining, and there's this long path ahead where you can see up into the horizon, and it's drizzle. And that album I'm playing, I'm just thinking, oh, I could just walk forever listening to this. But that's similar when I first heard your record. This
Oh,
was 3 weeks ago, and I was walking from a town where I live called Stevenage to a place called Letchworth Garden City through the fields. And I just had it in my calendar, avant-garde post-metal. So I didn't know what you sounded like. I didn't even know that Amber, female singer. So I remember when that first song came on, and that was similar. It started to rain a bit, and that was another one. It's like, hey, do you know, I could just walk for 3 hours listening to this. This is fine. Just keep playing it on repeat. And it has that. I think you're keen, aren't you, to say it has like a hypnotic effect? Is that what you're trying to create?
I love music that I can feel.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Or it makes me feel like I'm in a movie. That's how I know I love something. And I feel like that's what we were doing. Like we both, I can't really put words to it, but we know when something feels right. Like I can't do something and I don't feel it
Yeah.
when we're creating it. And I'll do it over and over until I am like, yeah, that's it. Like I have to literally feel it. Like some we've like cried sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like the end of uh
Yeah.
I can't think of it right now.
The end of the Wounded Healer,
Yeah, the Wounded Healer.
there's a certain part when that
Like
tone hits in, it
Yeah.
chokes me up
Yeah.
every time I hear it. Like
Yeah.
still.
Is that? I know we're going to come to that because it's the last
Yeah,
song.
sorry.
Is that the part? Do you know what gets me on that? When you are spontaneously screaming in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's not. That's not. Do you know? Do you know? It's refreshing. There's no technique where it's like, oh, false fry vocals. Are you doing this? It's like that's you just damaging your throat, basically, isn't it?
That was off the cuff. Like
Yeah,
we
you
were
can tell.
like, we just did it. We made it up that day.
She did that all in one take too. It's
Like we
all
were like,
straight out.
well, no, I think I did like, well, that one I did, but
Yeah.
I did like two. But on the drive there to the
Yeah.
studio, we were like, oh shit, we have to put something in that part. Like, what are we gonna do? Because what we had before
It
wasn't
wasn't
fully worked out. It was like the
Yeah.
only part that we didn't have worked out yet. So we were like, all right, listening to it on the way to the studio to Andrew's house. And um he was like, all right, we're just gonna go in. It's like in a bathroom and he has mics in the bathroom. And he's like, just go wild. And that's what I did. That's what
Yeah.
Not easy that though, is it? You know what you need to do, but actually doing it.
Yeah, I feel like working with him, like really, I don't know, it changed my perspective on things, So getting that real feeling, you know what I'm saying? When you're moving, like I like to move around a lot. There was times where he had me hold the mic, which I always wanted to do. We tried to do that at home once, remember?
Yeah.
Um, and just capturing all the little nuances of your voice, like the things that would usually some people would filter out. I feel like gives it that feeling. So that was my favorite part, to be able to go unhinged. Like
Yeah.
I just love that. I feel like there should be some kind of club where you do that for people.
Yeah, when I heard it, it's one of those moments I was like, oh fuck, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Is she okay?
Yeah.
Actually, because it is just so spontaneous, isn't it? Yeah, it's an improv, isn't it? That's what it feels like when you listen to it.
Yeah.
We're going to go on to the most confrontational song on the album, Handless Maiden, which I know you two love because there's a lot of videos of you playing this live. And I think you open with this, don't you, in some gigs? All right, and thinking.
We mostly open with Eyes Open, but
Right.
a couple times we did open with Handless Maiden.
Yeah.
This is the one song I think that could be the most divisive to people. People who are just like, don't like heavy music, it's just noise and it's in your face screaming. This is the one song I think that would put those people off. Those of us that like metal and transgressive music or confrontational music, we love it, myself included. Why does this song sound so spiteful though? What's the motivation for that? Or would you disagree that that it sounds maybe not spiteful, gnarly or spiky? I don't know. I can't even think of the word.
Well,
I,
aggressive, definitely. But I feel like, well, that's Handless Maiden is the story about the Handless Maiden, about the girl going into the underworld. And I feel like everybody can relate to that, right? Like it's another death, like life, death cycle, regeneration, right? You're regenerating a new you, and a piece of you has to die. And I feel like that's what that's from. It's from a story in Women Who Run with Wolves, Handless Maiden. And I think I pulled some stuff from Circe too. Circe the goddess. Do you know who I'm talking about?
no.
Okay. So, anyways, she would turn men into pigs
Oh, okay.
on her
Are you talking
islands.
about a Greek? Is this a Greek
Yeah, yeah,
god?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's a combination of both. Uh and yeah, it's just the aggression you feel. I feel like as a woman, a lot of times you don't get to show that, right? Like everyone tries, they want you to have your emotions under control. And I feel like just moving that energy is like a release. So that's kind of what that song is for me, anyways.
Scott, did you create the video for this?
I don't even know. I don't even remember.
Oh, it's the one with the
The
dancing.
one with the dad. It's this is so
Yeah.
so this is fucking this is hilarious, this video. It's the
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
1970s
yeah,
Your
apple pie
50s.
and baseball type
Yeah.
suburban
yeah,
families, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. That was stock footage
Oh, okay.
that I had found. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's from the EP version from
Oh, right. That's what
2021.
I've seen.
Yeah. So we're gonna, and then I had made another version with stock footage of skateboarder girls. Um, but we're actually going to make a new version of this video too at some point. Um, yeah.
Yeah, this probably is the most morbid guitar riff on the album, isn't it? You know, in terms from a Doom perspective, like those downstrokes, dun 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 dun,
Yeah.
type of thing
It's
you
a,
do in a sound check and just want to continue doing for 10 minutes.
it's a fun one to play.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, our new material is gonna have a lot more of this kind of stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's gonna be heavy.
I think this is the first song I was like, because I always wanted to be super aggressive in music. I like the duality of um the vocals, right? Like having
Yeah.
very soft and then the super aggressive. I think that's the first one
That you really
I
let go.
really found to yell.
Yeah.
It took a little bit
Yeah. Yeah, I think so
to
too.
do that, like trial and error,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this was the one that you really started to find your loud voice on.
Get my
Yeah, this
angries
because
out.
you're quite close to the mic, aren't you, as well, for a lot of these. Whereas
That
often you would
one,
move away from the mic, wouldn't you, when you're as loud as that?
yes. And I think he had me do a handheld mic with that one, but then there was mics all around me capturing
Yeah.
um other sounds. But yeah, he just said move around and go crazy. And that's what I did.
I
Yeah.
just thought you can play on a bigger stage. And the reason I'll say that is I was watching that Nine Inch Nails Woodstock famous live performance on YouTube last week. And at
Yeah.
almost the end of every song, Trent Reznor just launches the microphone into the crowd. I can see you doing that, just finishing it and just like,
Yeah. Yes.
don't know what the consequences are. It might split someone's head open, but hey, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying
It's the only reason why I don't do it. I don't want to be on like the newspaper somewhere.
them. Damage claim against you.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
whoops. But the now live we play drum. I play drums on the floor tom.
Yeah, so our last
I do.
show,
Yeah.
our last show, we our drummer had this idea a while back and we never tried it. So we brought out a floor tom, and on the whole beginning of the dun 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 dun, Amber played the drums with him, and it was a
fun.
lot of fun. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we're gonna do
it
that
made
from
it
now
way
on.
fun.
Yeah.
Could be an encore thing, that, and couldn't it?
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Come on and
It's a good
surprise.
idea.
Yeah. But yeah, if you get time, just watch one or two of the songs from that Nine Inch Nails Woodstock.
Oh yeah,
Just see
no,
him launch the microphone.
yeah, no, we've seen that before. We're big Nine Inch Nails fans actually, and we were around for that when that happened. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening. I've been on a bit of a Nine Inch Nails binge recently.
Yeah. Nice.
So track number 5, standout song for me, this, and it is for you because you said you've opened your set, Eyes Open. And
Yeah.
to me, do you know what's unique about this? Gothic noise rock. I don't think anyone's really combined those two before. This is a strange song, and I think in my review I said you've taken me from North America to like Berlin or Amsterdam. It's got a European aesthetic to it. This and noisy guitars as well that orbit the drum beats like clouds waiting to unleash rain. This was a pleasure to review because I was just writing simile after simile when I was
Awesome.
when I was listening to it. Why do you think this is a good opener for your live set?
Um, it's probably the song that follows the most commercial writing technique, like starting the song with a chorus and like, ending the song with the chorus, basically.
It's like
I mean,
catchy.
Dave Grohl even
Catchy.
said that's like the most popular way to write a song.
But I don't think we like made it like
We
that on
didn't do that
purpose.
on
It just happened
purpose.
that way.
It's just catchy, and um the drums in the beginning, it just feels
Yeah.
really great to start the set with that.
Yeah. See, when
I
you say starting with a chorus, I just think of that Britney Spears song, "Crazy," where it just
Yeah,
starts out
there
of
you
it
go.
with an uplift.
There you go.
Like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah.
This, I feel like, didn't we record this first? Remember when we made the makeshift booth?
No, I'm pretty sure it was the mirror. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I remember because I was used to playing drums and kind of singing. So you're not, I wouldn't say limited, but your mic is in one spot. So you would have to like move away or whatever. So this is, plus you're moving your body, right? This song, I feel like, is where I kind of figured out some of the singing too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I found like the spot where it was coming from, where I could keep repeating. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Do you know the title, Eyes Open? Just from that title alone, one thing I get from this music, and I put it in my review, is it isn't actually sentimental, really, this music, even though you've got some gorgeous melodies in there. I got the impression that it was very much like, yes, there is a fairy tale world. It does not exist. I don't think it's brutal what you're saying, but with a title like Eyes Open, what are the what is the lyrical main theme to this song?
Well, there's a couple things, but I feel like the eyes open. Oh God, there's so many layers to this. I don't even know if I can get into every single one. But in a nutshell, like once your eyes are open, you can't unsee certain things,
Yeah,
you
you've
know? And
lost
I
your
think,
innocence.
yeah, lost your innocence, but a lot at that time, a lot of stuff was going on, right, during lockdown. And I think this is like strung along in a lot of the lyrics, right? There's a common thread of, and I don't want to get like super political or anything like that, but you just couldn't unsee certain things. And I feel like we're being blinded or like fed something, you know.
Mhm.
And once your eyes are open, you can't just unsee certain injustices, you know. Um, yeah, that's
Yeah, that makes
basically
sense.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense.
yeah.
The next song, Generate, and I am allowed to say I know there's a video coming out for this in the next month.
Yeah.
That'll be April 24. Excellent. Um, I like the dream pop elements in this. Crystal clear melodies. This is, I think you enjoyed this song, didn't you, Amber? That you've really pushing the more melodic side of your voice, soothing, blissful almost.
Yes. There we go. So, yes. And when we were recording that, that changed a lot too from when we first recorded it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
going in when it's like minds full of amazing, like the
Yeah.
little voice, and then going into the deeper voice to give it different textures. And then I actually love the lyrics to this song.
They deserve to be nostalgic to match the luscious vocal lines, but I'm guessing they're not.
I feel like I don't know if I could even put words to this because it's that's why I write lyrics. Um, this song, I just feel like everybody goes through this, but they don't talk about it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. I don't even know what to say. But
Well,
yeah, we just did this live and I loved it.
Yeah.
It's one of my um favorites. I like peeling off faces, you know. Did you read the lyrics?
no, I haven't. I think when they with the poignancy, with that glittering emotion, I think with this, I just thought I don't need to read the lyrics because music's a language in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it instantly did give me that. Do you know that saying, happy tears, or you put on a brave face? That's the emotion that it communicated. So I thought that's fine. I'm just happy with that.
Yeah.
So don't worry, you're not going to spoil any mystique about it. But I
Yeah, yeah.
understand if you want to keep that, an element of ambivalence there as well.
Yeah. I mean, I also think there's a lyric in this and it says I'm floating in between the spaces and shade of light. And I feel like that's where we forget to land. We're always in the polarized, black and white or whatever, where you forget that middle, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and then this is what happens when you, you don't do that.
Typed up. And I've noticed that you've centralized each line as well. Haven't you, like stanzas in a poem?
Yeah.
Yeah. Musically, are you familiar with that English band Rolo Tomasi? Either of you?
Um, I know of them. I haven't really spent much time getting into their actual music though.
They'd be great touring partners. If you,
Huh.
I think she lives in New York now. She's married a New Yorker. I can't remember what the mathcore band is called.
Okay.
But I saw the brother. I saw him last week. I went to see Tesseract in London, and he was there. And my friend was like, "Oh, that's the guy from Rolo Tomasi." And I bought the
Nice.
last two albums, so we had a picture with them.
Huh.
But this reminded me of them, and
Oh,
they're one
Cool.
of they're definitely one of the best bands in England, in my opinion. But yeah,
cool.
there's with this, there's some really interesting tremolo picking on your guitar, not aggressive at all, quite atmospheric. What effects were you using for that guitar part?
Well, that was actually Dan, who is no
Okay.
longer no longer in the band, but I know that he was using a couple different layers of pitch shifter and some delay and reverb on there.
Yeah, it's most people would play that and they would the velocity, when they're doing that alternative picking, they'd nearly snap the strings where he's doing the opposite.
Yeah, yeah, he actually has a black metal project, so he's very versed on the tremolo picking and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the other thing I've noted here as well. Uh yeah, do you know what works there as well is that I've put the guitarist stays within the ethereal tremolo picking of the higher register notes beyond the 12th fret as the other channel layers up on like these grungy power chords. So
Yeah.
how would you play that live? Are you just gonna have to get a second guitar player in, or the synth's gonna do some of those effects instead?
Now, again, we'll just kind of use that layer in a backing track.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, we've toyed around with the idea of trying to find a second guitarist. But it's got to be the right person. Because we're all like a family, so we want to make sure we bring another family member into the band, basically. Um,
Solutions right in front of you. Amber, your daughter,
I
get her
know.
playing guitar. Surely that's
Trying
the
to.
solution, isn't
And synth.
it? Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
The multi-instrumentalist in the band.
yeah, that's funny.
So we do come to the last song, which we've already touched upon, and it reads like a short story title, "The Wounded Healer." So that gets your attention straight away, doesn't it? And there's like a glockenspiel effect in the intro, which I imagine is a synth, isn't it?
No,
Like, oh, it's
Yeah.
not.
no, that is so in the studio in Utah, we recorded the music with Andy Patterson, who was the drummer of Sub Rosa and has recorded like a lot of awesome bands. He has it's not a glockenspiel, it's a is it a
Xylophone.
vibraphone? As a I think it was a vibraphone.
Right.
Well, something like that. It's one of the big things, and it's got the pedal you step on. And um, when we were setting up, getting sounds for guitars and stuff, Amber was over in the corner playing on this thing, and I noticed. So I recorded a video of her
That's
on my
funny.
phone. And during the mixing process, I was like, "Oh, let's see." I pulled the sound out of the video off my phone, and that's what you're hearing.
Oh, okay. So you've sampled
Yes,
that from there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good intro with that. And yeah, I think there's an element of trepidation, isn't there, even in the beginning of this song, Doomgaze. Again, that actually is quite accurate, putting those two words together, which surprised me. Um, Pianos creeping through as well. And then, yeah, silence my heart. Is that that's what you're repeating, isn't it? And then we get to the point where you are told to go wild. And that's when I was thinking, is this doom metal? Is it post metal? Is it surge? It's none of them. I don't know what it is.
It's emotional metal.
Yeah.
It's emo metal.
Yeah, yeah. Are you're under some pressure though when you're playing this live though, aren't you, to replicate that from the record? Do you
We
not think?
have,
We
yeah,
we haven't played
we
that.
haven't played it live
Yeah.
and not sure when we will. Because I mean, it's a 10-minute long song.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we got to keep people's attention, and 10-minute long songs is hard to do unless you're like Yob. So, um, maybe at some point we'll play it live.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Or maybe a part of it
Yeah,
would be
Yeah.
fun.
yeah,
I think you need your own audience though when it's not a song you play at a festival.
yeah,
Once
definitely.
you've got your dedicated fan base, which I'm sure you've
Yeah,
already got, and I think that's the environment to play that, isn't it?
yeah, probably. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
people will come up and they'll be like, that was only 32 seconds, but it's 48 seconds. I'm like, God. The finale we're talking about here, aren't we?
It's funny.
Yeah. How did this because I know we're on the last track then. What did this look like originally compared to what it ended up as, this song? Was it always going to be a 10-minute song that's, the hybrid of like shoegaze melody with post metal guitars in there?
It was originally
I think
close
longer.
close to a 12-minute long song.
Yeah, it was longer.
So we shortened it down, which could sometimes be hard, actually,
I feel like
to
we were coming from a spot of writing longer songs
yeah,
in doom
yeah,
metal, right?
exactly.
Like this is what naturally
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah,
You write stories.
yeah, basically.
That's how I feel. You
Yeah,
write like musical stories.
totally, totally. Um, so yeah, it used to be longer. And
I really,
just that whole the way the ending goes, it's like a slow melodic build, and then there's like screaming, and then we kind of like fade it down. It just felt good to end the album with that.
Yeah. Are you familiar with that? I think they're from Richmond. Are you familiar with that band Eight Bells?
Um,
Like avant-garde doom metal band.
Eight Bells. Yeah, I've
that
heard of
sounds,
them. I don't think I've
yeah.
listened to them though.
That's it. Do you know that now I'm thinking about it, that they're another band that would be an ideal fit.
Yeah.
I think if somebody likes their music, they would really enjoy this album. I keep using that word ethereal for some reason, but I can't think of a better word. They have those elements with doom metal, and they've got a bit more prog in their music, but they do use synths a bit like you do as well. More cinematic rather than like these arpeggiator. When you listen to like techno or trance, and it's just like which is great on a synthesizer because you're just pressing
Yeah.
one button, aren't you? And it does it. I
Yeah.
love doing that on a synthesizer.
Yeah.
But
We love that stuff too.
yeah, it's great. When you're warming up, it's like right,
Yeah,
arpeggiator button.
yeah,
Kraftwerk, the robots. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, The Wounded Healer. Is it based on a novel or a novella, or did you just want to give it a title that sounds like a short story?
How did we come up with the wounded healer?
It used to be called something else actually. It used to be called Dernier Cri,
Yeah.
which is a French term. But then it was something you were reading at the time, I believe. The Wounded Healer.
I feel like there was a word. It was a word.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then we're like, oh, that's the wounded healer. And then we're like, oh, that's perfect. Like,
It's a great title for a song.
right? Like that's how you become a healer is you're wounded somehow, right? So, um, I can't remember though. It was like, I feel like we were watching something maybe,
No, it was something that you were reading or learning at the time, or
or I was in a class. I can't remember, but it was something like that.
yeah.
But when we saw it, we are like, yeah, that's perfect for that.
Yeah, we actually almost came close to naming the album that too.
Yeah,
Mm.
wounded
Yeah.
healer.
Is there a spiritual cleansing to the song Silence My Heart? Can we read into that there is almost like a renewal there? It's like I need to purify my heart of all corrupting outside influences.
Yeah, like that. And then also the opposite of like, oh my God, stop. I don't want to feel anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's both. So, um, yeah, it's both.
It would have been a good title for the album, but I think Regeneration,
No, yeah, regeneration
right,
was
isn't
Yeah.
it?
that's like the theme of the year.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
I have the past 3 years.
Well, it's almost optimistic, isn't it? Regeneration. Okay,
Oh
be a better
yeah.
person, find who I really am. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and also the idea of sustaining, like, how everybody talks about sustaining, but I just don't think that works anymore. I feel like that's just keeping everything the way it is, and
Mhm.
you have to do something new. We have to shed away the old shit that's not serving us anymore in every way, like in the whole world, not just on a human level. I feel like if everybody does it individually, then it's just going to help everything else, you know? And for some reason, we just hold on to that old shit.
And even regeneration doesn't need to be reckless fearlessness,
No.
does it? Either there will be anxiety and apprehension with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just ask one more question about the album, the artwork? I like the color. Is that it's like scarlet, pink color, isn't it? Who
Yeah.
designed the artwork?
I did all of the artwork. That the base of the color was actually the color of the year,
Yeah, it was color of the
of
year.
2023.
And it's
Something,
also a super powerful
yeah,
color.
something
It is.
magenta.
Yeah.
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 I feel like when
Um,
you wear red or anything like that, like
yeah.
a pinky red, I mean, it's a power color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that Pig Destroyer album, Terrifier. In
Oh, yeah.
fact, it reminds me a bit of that. Do you know that album cover? That has
Uh,
like I think a woman in a fetal position, but it has a similar colors, a bit more red to it.
hmm.
Hmm.
I don't remember. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another one to go. I just think, oh yeah, no, yeah. The other thing with that as well, like on the Screen Blast Repeat website, everything we have is black. So when that album came on there, it's like, it looks amazing
Nice.
with that. In terms of your merch, then, will there be a black t-shirt with that album cover on it, do you think?
Yeah,
Black melody.
there is one. We don't sell it at our shows, but there's an online merch store that people can order that on a t-shirt or a hoodie, as well as a bunch of other designs too.
But we have the new long sleeve. It has the triangle with the bodies in the middle.
Yeah, we have a long sleeve that has the image of the body of the album cover, and it says Regeneration on the side of a triangle, and then it says your power is infinite.
Yeah.
On the arms.
Yeah.
So where should we buy the record then? Should we go direct to Bandcamp, to your website, via the record company's website, Amazon? Where would you recommend?
Bandcamp, because that links, so like for everyone in Europe and UK and overseas, that comes from New Heavy Sounds, but it's all through the Bandcamp. So like
Let's have a look how much it is then. So I've got Bandcamp. See, here in England, sometimes the postage is $30-40. It's like double the price of the album. Let me just have a look what it is on here then. So that artwork does stand out, doesn't it? Sorry, I'm just admiring it now. So yeah, looking at this. Oh, that's good. Yeah, so you can get 12-inch vinyl toxic yellow version, UK, Europe, and rest of the world. I'm just reading this off for our viewers, by the way, so they know what's available. Digital album, limited edition USA and Canada version. Yeah, pink version. That looks fantastic, doesn't it? The shocking pink version. I'm just finding the CD. Oh, 4-panel CD digipack. See, I still buy CDs. Oh, that's reasonable. So $11.99. Yeah, no, that's yeah. So to our viewers, go on Bandcamp then. If you collect vinyl, you're in for a treat here. Certainly with that shocking pink version. That's the word you've described it as, haven't you? Shocking pink. That's the industry term. And then there's merch on there as well. I don't know. I don't think there is merch on your Bandcamp page. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. So I'm just gonna have a quick look at this hoodie you were talking about. Ah, yes, the one with the triangle. Oh no, that's the long sleeve shirt. That looks fucking cool. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go and shop on this then, aren't I, after this interview? So 26th of January, 24 is when this album came out. Here in the UK, it's New Heavy Sounds, and there in the US, what's the label? Sorry, Red.
Seeing Red.
Yeah, Seeing Red.
Seeing Red. Seeing Red. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Definitely go and check this out. It's definitely going to be a contender for album of the year. We do a top 50 albums of the year, so I've no doubt this will definitely be in that. And
Awesome.
we'll do it like we do a video countdown. You know, we do it towards the end of the year, and it's a bit like a former British show called Top of the Pops. So I do the voiceover and I count down. Coming in at number 2 is
that's fun.
you know, number 10. We go to New York. Is it New York? What do you call it? Upstate New York.
Yeah. Hudson Valley. Hudson Valley.
That's it. Yeah. So number 10, we go to upstate New York with GUHTS and their debut album Regeneration.
Nice.
I'll let you know when that comes out. I'm sure.
Oh, you have to. I want to hear that.
You'll recognize the voice that's doing it. So thank you very much for coming on for the Behind the Album series. It's always an honor. And to qualify for this, you do have to score an 8 out of 10 on Screen Blast Repeat. So well done. You were a comfortable qualifier for this.
Thank you.
Thank
this
you.
feature. Been an absolute pleasure, and I will see you in the UK when you come to tour here.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so
I
much.
look forward to it. Thank you.